Nearly 1 year ago, this very painting you see behind me of the Good Shepherd sparked a religious controversy here in New Concord, after a John Glenn High School senior turned toward the ACLU saying that the painting was unconstitutional. The community put up a fight to keep it in the school where it had been since 1971 as a memorial to a former Latin teacher, Margaret Barnett. The cost to continue the fight was too much for the East Muskingum School District, so the painting had to be removed. Some community members found another way to keep the painting alive. Jeanette Mall, an attorney in Zanesville, coordinated the sign efforts.
This was such a strong image and such a strong part of the history of our community, having been in the high school for 40 years, that it was worth having an effort to replicate it. And I'm thrilled that we were able to get the original image on the sign, and that it actually is lovely during the day, but it's even more gorgeous at night and is a beacon to all who see it.
Mull's son, a senior at John Glenn High School, says the sign is even more visible now than ever.
I kind of feel like this dedication was almost like a slap in the face to the people who tried so hard to take it down. That this was it was in the back of the school where no one could see it anyway, so now everyone that passes on 83 gets to see it.
The person behind the removal of the Good Shepherd painting, Allison Whaley, was a senior at John Glenn High School at the time. She says she's not angry or upset by the sign, even though she thinks most people expected her to feel that way. Whaley also mentions she has received negative feedback on social media regarding the Good Shepherd sign. One commenter on an article written about the sign erection called Whaley a selfish, self-serving brat. Tim Thomas, pastor of Shalom Baptist Church in Viseville, apologizes to Whaley for the negative comments.
I would hope that it's not the Christian community that is doing those particular things. And all that I would like to say to the young lady is that if that's taken place, I'm sorry. But we want to pray for you, and we want to lift the name of Jesus, and we want to be able to have the painting in full view. And in spite of those things that's happened, we do have it in full view here today.
Among those in attendance at Tuesday's ceremony was United States Congressman Bill Johnson. During his keynote address, Johnson said the strength of our nation is not in our government or institutions, but in God.
We don't want government telling us how to worship or whether we can or cannot worship. But everybody in this country ought to be able to worship and to express their faith the way that they want to. That's what freedom of religion. Our Constitution doesn't say freedom from religion, it says freedom of religion. And all Americans ought to be guaranteed that right.
Despite such a large response from the community about the sign, students at John Glenn High School don't seem to be as passionate.
The student body now, this really isn't a big deal to them.
So it's more the adults in the community?
Yeah, so more of the adults. I'm guessing the students really don't realize what that really even means. So.
Cassandra McDonald works with students in the East Muskingum School District giving music lessons. She says students may not realize the importance of the sign now, but it will stick with them in the future.
We understand the value. We've lived long enough to know that in God we trust, and that they need, when things like Columbine and things happen, the people always say, well, where was God? And as adults we'll say, well, where did you put him?
The answer to her question may be right here on Friendship Drive, and at night it is lighted. For Orbit Media News, I'm Christine Holmes.